So hi guys, welcome to stage 20 of the Fire Department New York. Now this is definitely going to be a single issue. This is the jump seat, cab equipment and front left light cluster. But it might be a short one, might be a long one. I haven't filmed it yet. But I know that 21 is going to be a very long one. So I'm just going to keep this to a single issue. So let's see how I get on. So this is issue 20 and we have quite a few parts, but I think we're going to get through them quite quickly. I've had a quick look at the instructions. I haven't studied them in detail, but it looks like a lot of things we're doing is stuff that nothing is new. Some things are new, obviously. Let's get rid of that. Right, so the parts in no particular order. I'm going to lay them out per the magazine, but I'm going to pick them up as they come. So we have a jump seat, nothing we haven't seen before, and there's no logo on this one. So I said before that this one didn't have a logo on it. I couldn't see if there was a logo. This is quite heavy actually. That's interesting. So that's obviously going to go there to match this one. So it's got no logo, but these all do. As you can see, little logo there. So more waffle for you. Look. Right, so with that we have got, I say I'm in no particular order, I am doing them in order. This is the seat support, again nothing we haven't seen before. And then we've got some orange parts. These are interesting. Oh, are they metal? No, I thought they were metal. Right, so we've got this is the water cooler bottom half, this is the water cooler top half, and this is the cab cylinder. So that's going to add a little bit of contrast, isn't it? An extra colour. Right, so next we've got, oh, we've done this before, haven't we? This is the Light Cluster Pcb. And that looks exactly the same. I want to have a little closer look. I think they are definitely lights. I think, I'm not sure. You know me, I'm not a real expert in electronics. I do electronics, but I'm by no means an expert. I do know a couple of people that can do these tiny lights, but yeah. Right, so next we have got the front. Here we are. It's a shame because when they show us these parts in the magazine, they show us from this side. Come on, focus. But if they showed us this side, it'd be so much easier to identify and it would look nicer as well. Right, so next up we've got another floodlight. And you know my thoughts on this. I just want to crack the silver paint out and gloss varnish, but that's nothing we haven't seen before. Then we've got a, we've seen these before, portable radio charger, and then we've got, here we go, we've got a mirror. Now this is a different mirror from what we've seen before. It's a smaller one. Floodlight. Then we've got, can't find it, there we are, windscreen washer. We've seen one of those before, and I know I'm going to use these fairly quickly, but we've seen this, but on the right this is a turn signal lens left. Then we've got 2 headlight lenses, and then we should have, there we go, 3 LED diffusers. Very hard to see, but I'll show you as we get a little bit closer to it. And then we've got an H screw, H for hotel, and that's 2 of those. So I'm now convinced they are starting to give us spare screws, because they gave us 2 before and there was 1 left over. And again with the M screw, they're giving us 2. Sorry, that was the H screws, yeah, and this is the M screws. So they're giving us 2, but as you can see, last time they gave us 2 and we only used the 1. So I don't know, are these spare, which worries me. I don't think, I've mentioned this virtually every issue, don't think they would give us that many spares. 1 spare is normal, sometimes 2, but 8 or 9. Right, so first thing we're going to do is do the jump seat, and that's going to go in with a peg at the rear of the seat. Oh, and that's gone straight in this time. Last time I had a bit of a problem. So get some super glue. I may need a new cocktail stick. This cocktail stick's been used a few times. Oh no, it's actually okay. So let's do a little H, spread that glue around, make sure there's no thickness anywhere, and then peg towards the back. That didn't go in quite as easily as it did on the dry fit. Right, there we go. So that is in nice, and that is not sticking. That is sticking. No, it's not sticking. Right, let's apply some glue to these lugs as well. I don't want to put that much glue on. Right. I think this is a painted part, because when you apply glue, the glue the paint seems to come off. It's like the glue is acting as a paint stripper. Right, so there we go. That's not sticking. Why is that not sticking? Maybe that just needs to be left a bit longer. Yeah, that's okay, that's better. Right, so let's push that in really, really hard. I think maybe it's just not make enough contact. Okay, so the next step then, I think we're all seeing this coming. We've got to put that seat into there, and we've got 1 peg, 1 screw hole, and that's going to go in. I'm doing this a bit blind because it's a bit dark under there and I can't see where it's going. So just kind of feel the peg hole and then rotate it till it goes in. I think that peg hole's not actually going in. Wow, there we go. So that's in, and then we press firmly, which we've just done, and then we want to screw that in with an H screw. And just because it's the nearest screwdriver to hand, I'm going to use the screw that we got with the build. As you know, I have my favourite screwdriver, which I do use a lot, I do use most of the time. Now that seat I don't like. You see it's leaning a little bit forwards, but it is on, it's on properly. I think it's just because it's a bit of a rubberized seat, but that's okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats in now, so that's looking busier now. Right, so the next thing we want to do is assemble the water cooler. So we need to take our 2 water cooler halves, top and bottom. Note that the large and small lugs correspond with the large and small holes. So I can see it's going to go. God, there's an awful lot of flash in there. Lots of flash. Right. So obviously the next stage is to tell us to put those 2 together. Push the 2 halves firmly. I'm going to go with it, with the flash. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it would knock some of that flash off as we put it together. Be careful. You need to keep these parallel with each other. If you push that in at an angle, it's going to snap that peg off. And I really am struggling. The main struggle really is because it's a glossy paint, it makes it difficult to grip. There we go, that's in. There's a bit of a nasty seam line there, but that's what you've got to expect with a push fit connection. You could go to town and fill that and repaint it, but I don't think we're going to need to. Right, so the next step then, next to this seat we've got a hole there, and it's actually a hexagonal hole. But that peg looks round. So align the lug at the narrow end of the water cooler with a hole at the back of the right hand side, and we're gonna have a little feel. I think maybe that is shaped. Press firmly to fit. Right, problem with pushing firm, there we go, it does go in, but the problem with pushing firmly to fit is sometimes you slip. But that is fine, and I'm just going to rotate that slightly that way. That's not, I think there's actually a colour difference there. On camera does it look like there's a colour difference between the two halves? Maybe it's just the shadow. Right, anyway, so the next step is to get the portable radio charger. So obviously there's a radio charger, there's going to be one on each side, so I guess this is a radio charger for these two guys, and that's one for those two guys. That's a guess. But yeah, 1 2 3 4, I don't know. Right, so push firmly. Then the last thing we do on this bit is we take this cab cylinder, we push that into the hexagonal shape. What we're actually doing here, guys, is we're pushing a round hole into a hexagon. So what that's going to do is, it's difficult to get in, but once it's in, it's going to grip it. That is very difficult to push in. Very difficult. So yeah, push. It's the paint. There's too much paint on there. It's very thick paint. I don't want to push because I'm worried I'll damage the parts that we have done. So my apologies, I had a little interruption, so I had to stop the filming, but that is the beauty of pre-recorded videos. And then when I was waiting for the kettle to boil, I got that in by twisting. What had basically happened was, there was, you see there, it's black. There was a lot of paint block on it. There was a lot of paint on it, and the way I got it in was just by pushing it in and just keep twisting it. And you can see now that the paint has come off, it goes in nice and easily. So that's that part done, and that really is building up now, isn't it? There's a lot going on, lots of tiny little detail. One thing you could do on these plain bits, could just hit that with a little bit of dry brush. I'm quite tempted to do that, but I probably won't just now. So now that part is in, the next thing I'm going to do, and we've done this before, I'm going to put this to one side. And this is something else that I'm liking about this build. We're not focusing all of our efforts on this for about 20 issues. We're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of something else, and coming back to it. So it really does keep the interest levels quite high. So we need to assemble the front left light cluster, and just like before, we're going to get these little LED diffusers, and we're going to put the first one in. I might be looking like I'm rushing this, and I apologize if I am. Obviously I know what I'm doing this time rather than having to read the instructions. So that's gone in absolutely fine, as you can see there. And then the next step is going to be the indicator lens, and just like before, this has got a arrow on it, so I can see it. So just like last time, I've done it the wrong way, so it needs to be pointing that way. So, and we need to be holding the part this way, and then that lens is going to go into that top piece. Whoops, nearly lost it. And I don't think that rotated, but we'll just get a good close look. I can't, there we go, that arrow is definitely pointing that way. So let's do a quick comparison with the previous one if I can find it. Sorry if you see my arm, I'm just reaching into my, what I'm calling my sub-assemblies box. Here we go. So this is the one that we've done previously, so this one should be pointing, so this one therefore should be pointing that way, and I can see that it is, so that's fine. So you would expect the left and the rights to be pointing in different directions. So just like before, we're going to be pushing our light diffusers, LED diffusers, sorry, in here, and I'm just wondering, no, I thought I found an easy way to do it. I thought there was a little hole in the back of the LED diffusers, and I was just going to consider popping a cocktail stick in there, wedge the cocktail stick in, push the LED diffuser in, then pull it out, but it doesn't work. The hole in the back of the LED isn't big enough. So that's all 3 LEDs in now, or LED diffusers, and then the next step is to put these headlight lenses in, and just like before, it doesn't seem to matter which way round you put these lights in, just make sure you put them in. There we go, that's one in, and then we've got the second one, and that goes in. Now I found that you can push them in and they're in, but then they actually sit above the silver part. You really need to just push them beyond, so you can see that the middles are poking out higher than the silver part. In fact, that one on camera looks like it's not in enough. That's better, isn't it? Right, so and just following like we did before, we've got this this LED PCB. Now what I'm going to do, we know we're going to be using a screw, and I'm going to get my trusty screwdriver, the one that I always rely on, more importantly the one with a flat bottom. I'm going to load that screw up, and I'm going to pop the screwdriver there ready, because once we get this in we need to hold it in place. So we've got a peg at the bottom there, and then we've got a little hole there, and then you can see the brown side of the LED that says what the colour of the well, they call that green. I think, you know what, they got them wrong way round, haven't they? Like, you can see the black and the red, but the green and the yellow are the wrong way round. I wonder if that's going to affect performance. I think they just put the wrong colour in, didn't they? Maybe someone's colour blind. Right, so I'm just going to separate these wires a little bit, so I can see that screw hole there. You can't, because the camera is out of focus. And so the screw hole there, we just pop that screw into there like that. I'll give that just a couple of turns, and I can just check that my wires aren't in the way, and then holding it there, because if that PCB lifts at the front, it's just going to rotate as we turn, so just make sure that stays down, and then I can finish screwing that, and I'll keep screwing until it wants to stop, and then we just check that LED PCB is in, and that's absolutely fine. So that was put in with an M screw, just in case I forgot to say, and that is that issue complete. We have a mirror, and we have a lamp, and we have a window washer, window wiper. These are going to be used in a future issue, so we'll pop those into the bag, and we'll pop that in the sub. Oh, I just missed the box altogether. So we're going to pop that into the sub assemblies box, and we're going to bag this up as well, because I know we're not going to be using it we're not going to be using it anymore, and then that's going to go on there like so. And this is what my sub assemblies box is looking like right now. So we've taken a few pieces out, like one of the seats I think we took out, but on the whole this box is filling up, and we've got lots of little interesting pieces, and we don't really, oh well, we just want to check this. There we go. So if you remember in a past issue, I popped some plastic magic in there. That is now set, and that is not moving, so I'm really happy with that. That plastic magic's really done the job. So yeah, there's a piece there from issue 1. There's, I forget what that's called, front bumper is it, I think they called it. So one of the lights, we've done a few little greebly bits that we've got there. So the dashboard, so yeah, it's full of bits. So I'm really looking forward to when we get rid of, once this box becomes empty, and I think it probably won't empty till the very last issue, but it's really starting to come along now. So guys, that is it for this issue. The next issue is going to be issue 21, main cab body and details, installing the rear cab doors and cab roof. And it looks like there is going to be an awful lot to do. There's quite a few parts, but it looks like there is an awful lot to do. And I'm just going to give you one spoiler, and that's this. And that's how I'm going to finish the show.